got a new tripod. Well, it's not really a tripod. It's kind of a posh selfie stick with a remote control. So I can't get it to work because I think both batteries are dead. And it cost me the grand total of £1.25. Bargain.
Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah.
Hi kids, welcome to Terry on Tuesday for this week. As you may have noticed, there wasn't a video last week because I was in the pits of depression. No, it wasn't as bad as it sounds, but it was a kind of needed timeout. Wraps the timeout. I thought I could do with some time off. I took almost a week off social media. Well, at least Instagram and Facebook, because I was basically completely overwhelmed with stuff. Okay, a couple of things before we get into this. Firstly, tiniest of trigger warnings. I will vaguely be mentioning how bad things got for me many years ago. Vaguely. I'm not going to linger on it. And the other thing is, I know this sounds a bit, oh, my life is so hard. I know a lot of people have got it a lot harder than me. A lot of people are still going through and living with ridiculously difficult situations mentally and physically and financially and everything. I'm just saying this is the only thing I can speak on is my own experiences, right? Anyway, that all said, I thought it'd be probably handy to put a video out on this subject for a change. I did a video many years ago. I would say at least 7 or 8 years ago. I just did a top 10 list of things to help when you're feeling lower than a snake's belly. I love that phrase. And a lot of people got back to me and said, oh, that was really cool. Thanks for doing that. And maybe I'll revisit that. Maybe I'll dig the video up and make the list, etc. But it is somewhere, something like 10 things, 10 ways to combat depression or something like that. Anyway, I spent a full 10 years, my entire 40s, being clinically depressed. It was a combination of many things, including the fact that I did not know that I've been dealing with ADHD all my life until last year, until I kind of put all the jigsaw pieces together and went, that's what I do. I'm that. And again, it's not an excuse. It's a really good explanation though. And had I known that in my 40s, I think I would have been slightly better able to cope with it because I'd understand why I was doing certain things and thinking certain things and letting things get to me and all this sorts of stuff, because ADHD, as I'm learning every day, is a massively complicated thing with many different heads like Hydra. And when you deal with one, another 10 pop up. But yeah, so I spent my entire 40s being clinically depressed. And that was the aftermath. I mean, that was a walk in the park compared to the months that started my 40s off. And here comes the trigger warning, where I tried to finish myself off on 2 occasions. I clearly did not go through with it. And even at the time, when you don't go through with it, you feel even worse because you're like, I can't even manage that. How much of a failure am I? And now everyone's going to think I'm a poser just lying about it. I got no reason to lie. Anyway, I clearly didn't. I'm still here. I'm very happy I didn't. But you still kind of I use that as the benchmark. That's like rock bottom. So I know that I'm not. So last week, for example, things got pretty bad for me. For the first time in a long time, I was feeling that I wasn't coping with my workload, my friendships, my finances, my day-to-day, like, looking after my place and my projects and all these other things. Everything seemed to be going wrong, and I was like, eh. And for the first time in many years, I didn't consider doing anything ridiculously silly. I just need to point that out. I didn't say, let's revisit that jumping off the high thing. No, it wasn't like that. But the horrible cloudy thoughts popped back into my brain, and it started going like, well, if you weren't here, then none of this would matter. And it wasn't a case of go and do it. It was more a case of just obsessing over the thought of if I wasn't here and stuff like that. And I can't stress this enough. I wasn't considering, it's time to go and find tall things to jump on. It wasn't that at all. It was more, your brain ticking things out. I mean, like you get like forbidden thoughts. Like you see a car speeding down the road, you go, he's going to crash into something now. You don't want them to crash into something, and you'd be horrified if they did, but you still think it, right? It's just a kind of, he's going to hit something and probably plow into a load of people, and you don't want that to happen. Like I say, you definitely don't want that to happen, but you still think it. So my brain was kind of obsessing over, and I thought, do you know what? I haven't had a reason to think about bad things like that for a long time. And that's when I knew I needed to take a break. Life is, right now, fine. I'm managing and everything. But I know for a fact that a lot of my despair and worry comes from my financial situation. I work bloody hard. I do illustrations, voiceovers, builds, that kind of stuff. I'm creating stuff to try and bring money in and all this kind of stuff. I'm even eBaying stuff on a regular basis. But I do have a number of jobs, and I work very late hours and very early mornings. And yes, I have a nap in the middle of the day because I'm old. Freely admit. But a lot of my moods is connected to worry about how am I going to pay for my next food shop or bills or whatever. And in December, my income's going to go down the tubes thanks to our friends at Universal Credit, because I don't earn enough to live on according to them. I like that. According to them. And yes, I totally agree. I would love to earn as much as they say I should earn, which is about $1,500 a month. If I could earn $1,500 a month, I'd qualify for Universal Credit. But I don't. So I don't. So they're going to stop it. And they've been telling me, just get another job. I was like, kind of don't want to. As a young man, a very young man, I did most jobs in the world. That sounds silly. Now, I've never been, worked on a lifeboat or an oil rig, but I did the whole call centers and factories and retail and blah, blah, blah. And it was absolute hell. I ain't going back to that. I can survive on tiny amounts of money. As long as I can pay my rent, my bills, I will eat pebbles. Anyway, I'll manage. And I'm not having them telling me I need to jack in 29 years of being self-employed as an artist and voiceover person just to keep them happy. Go away. I'm nearly at retirement age anyway. Not that I'm going to get anything from the government as a pension, but you know what I mean. I think now is not the time to be considering a change in my career right now. I'm not a job seeker, but the Universal Credit people treat you like a low down, no good, scum sucking job seeker dolly. They really do. So, what's been going on? Yeah, so my week off social media was the fact that scrolling, I do a lot of doom scrolling. We all do it. And, sometimes you see someone putting up their food or their lavish lifestyle or their relationships and all those kinds of things. Shouldn't normally bother you or me, but it was getting to me 10 times as bad. I was seeing people out on great nights out and going, I can't afford that. People in amazing relationships, I'm like, I haven't had a relationship for 10 years. People having holidays. So, well, my last holiday was Finland, and that was brilliant, but it's ridiculously expensive. And I've been trying to save up money for a holiday in Finland next year, and that's all gone because I'm making my short film. So I ain't going to Finland, but I am going to get away to Port Myrian, January. Be seeing you. Yeah, so regular holidays are not something I've ever been used to. They've even lost the appeal, I know it's cheaper for me to, rather than going, tell you what, for the price of going to Port Myrian for 2 days, I could have gone to Spain for a week. Don't like the idea of going abroad anymore. What's the point? I know a lot of people enjoy it. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying go to a place where you're boiling hot, spend a load of money to stay somewhere while you're still paying rent at home, and then you either do the cultural stuff and eat the local food and stuff, but what's out there? It's just families of Brits fighting and drinking booze and smoking ciggies and eating cooked breakfasts. It's kind of nightclubbing till I can't nightclub. I'm 55, for goodness sake. Well, at least I will be. So anyway, I needed time off from all that stuff. If you're having an ongoing kind of battle with depression, and in my case, it's not an ongoing thing. It's more a case of I feel I've beaten it, but the aftermath is still there. There's always the black cloud still follows you around, but occasionally it gives you little digs and goes, remember me? And you go, oh yeah. And that can be triggered by all sorts of things. So, when I see super happy couples celebrating their anniversaries and their holidays and their children having babies and all sorts of stuff, I'm happy for them. But it just reminds me, old black cloud goes, loser. And you go, oh yeah. That probably comes, I should have done it that way, shouldn't I? Anyway, that's what happens. And it gets to you more than it actually should do. And things begin to overwhelm you. So the whole point of me saying all this is I know for a fact that there are people out there and there are people watching this who get like this, like I do, just as well I do. And all I can do, really, I can't tell you a way to fix it because everyone's different, right? And nothing's worse than having someone saying, well, you need to do this. If my dear late mother was here, she would have said, well, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You need to take life by the horns. You need to shake it off. You need to cheer up. I was like, oh, thanks, Mum. I didn't think about that. Because that's how easy it is. Right, kids? If it was that easy, I would have done it, Mum. Anyway, bless her. So the point of this is basically I know what it's like. I know a lot of people are in the same boat as me, metaphorically speaking. And the things that work for me is I visualize my entire life or my moods like a roller coaster, right? I know this is very Ronan Keating. I'm sorry. But whoever wrote that Life is a Roller Coaster song, if it was a cover, or maybe it was just Ronan. But he's right, though. When you're great, things are great, but everything's balanced. It's like a seesaw, right? I'll try and stick to the roller coaster analogy. I'll leave seesaws out of it. But you can't have the ups without the downs. You can't have the downs without the ups. And if you can keep in your mind the fact that the bad stuff, if you can just hold on for however long it is, it's not going to last forever. Things will improve. And unfortunately, by the whims of the great universe, things are great. They're not going to last forever either. So you have to prepare for the bad stuff. But when you're at the bottom of the roller coaster ride, you have to remember that sooner or later you're going to go back up, right? That's all you got to do. And it's not worth considering jumping off like I did. The one thing, I've been reading up on this stuff, and basically the thought behind it now is that you shouldn't say to someone, well, finishing yourself off is selfish. It's like, well, no. No one wants to be selfish. They just want to get out of the box that they're currently in, which is not a very nice place to be. One of the interesting phrases I heard over the last few years is, you don't want to kill yourself. You just want to kill the way you feel right now. And that's pretty good. That is very good. It's very hard to hold on and get through the bad shit before the good stuff happens. And like in my case, I'm thinking, well, I've I haven't been great at relationships, but maybe someone will come along at some point. And this bus is over 10 years late. I can't do anything about that. Well, maybe I can, but I don't move in the right circles to meet new people all the time. I don't go pubbing and clubbing, and I don't have a job that involves me going out somewhere and meeting people. So I don't know. And before you say it, no, I'm not going on dating sites. Done that before. Nightmare. It's just full of people like me. I see what you mean. So that's basically all I wanted to say, is that things have been a bit shit. But I'm very thankful and grateful for where I am. I'm reasonably healthy. There's certain little niggles like the old dodgy knee and overweight and things like that, and a little bit of ADHD and everything else going on with that. But I'm grateful for being able to think, talk, walk, and work. There's work coming up. I'm in the middle of a new animated pop video. There may be some more stuff with the Kinks coming up. Next week I should be finishing off my short film, at least the shooting of it, and then we'll get round to editing it. And what else is happening? There was something else I wanted to tell you about. Off-world news. UK release imminent. Can't put an absolute date on it, because the last time we were given a date, that date flew past. Watch this space. We will be announcing stuff as soon as we possibly can. And we had that review from someone in the States who said Offworld was the worst film ever made and utter garbage. And I thanked him for his review and said it was more entertaining than the film itself. And he said, no, honestly, mate, why did you even bother? I'm like, yeah, why do I even bother? Why does anybody even bother doing anything? I mean, why did he bother doing the blog? Because he's a hateful, horrible person and wrong. No, Offworld is not an epic. Never said it was. We've always said it's, you've got to remember, it was 10 people walking around a field having arguments, filmed for about $9,000 in 6 days. What were you expecting? Chris Nolan? Maybe Nolan's sisters, but not Chris Nolan. There was something else I wanted to tell you. I can't remember. That's the thing. You have this list and you go off track. I don't know. Yes, music. That was what I was going to talk about. I've written a song. I've written a rap tune. proper effort of mine since about 2000 and, I would say 2008, 2007 possibly. I did a couple of little sort of solo tracks a few years ago. I mean, yeah, 2007, 2008-ish. I think it was before I went to college. No, if it was before college, that would be pre-2003. I'm sure I did something since then. But yeah, it was around the 2009 mark, I think. And last week I sat down and finally, it's getting harder. It's getting harder to write songs. I used to just find a beat and go, that's the beat. I'll write some lyrics over that and we'll put the rest together in the studio. Unfortunately, I found a million different beats and a million different, styles and everything. Added to that, over the years, I've been sort of going, the reason I haven't done any rap stuff is because times have changed. Rap has definitely changed. I no longer have the skills to pay the bills, yo. I no longer have the right style, as it were, the dexterity or the vocabulary or whatever to keep up with the young kids, And rap is definitely, everyone seems to be heading towards the Eminem style of rapping. If you're not doing the urban stuff like trap and mumble rap and all these other kind of things and drill, then I've got to decide, what am I going to sound like? And it's dawned on me that because I'm old, I should stick to what I know. Old school. Sometimes called boom bap, but I'm talking mid-80s era, maybe early 80s as well. Stuff that sounds a bit electro, stuff that sounds a bit, two turntables and a microphone, sample-based stuff, funk music samples, all that kind of thing. So I've come up with something that's going to sound pretty old school. I'm talking, imagine like Run DMC's first album, that kind of stuff. But that's not all I'm going to be doing. I'll probably try and do some more modern stuff. As long as I get more confident, I'll probably try and attempt something a bit more complex. But generally, I just want to have fun with it. I'm not out to prove anything to anyone. Only myself. Only that I can get into the studio, write something reasonably fun, and then perform it. I'm not doing gigs. I'm not doing battles. Grow up. I'm just making a bit of music to listen to and having a bit of fun with it. That's all I'm doing. But I'm excited about it because I've got at least an album's worth of stuff sketched out. Whether I'll ever get round to recording it all, who knows? But I'm hoping to get this first tune, working title, down. That's what it's called. No, there are more words in that title than just down, but I'll stick with that for now. And we'll see how that goes. So watch that space as well. Maybe I'll do a pop video. Never even thought about that. Do a video for it. The last time we did a video, I was doing Jack Sparrow down Cardiff Bay with a load of people dressed up as pirates, and we were just lip syncing to Goody Two Shoes by Adam and the Ants, or Adam Ant, sorry. Can't even put that on YouTube; it'd get copyright struck, blocked, or whatever. But that was all right. It was good fun. Very embarrassing trying to lip sync to a song when there's tourists walking around. But yeah, I wouldn't mind the idea of actually doing a video to this rap tune. How many people can I round up wearing shell suits and rope chains and Kangols and that kind of thing? Make it proper. I will stand in front of a graffiti wall, every cliche going. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Anyway, that'll be fun. Maybe we'll do it in the summer. Who knows? That'll be good. Maybe we'll do a winter one. I don't know. Anyway, that's all it for me now. I've been talking for far too long. According to my phone, I've been talking for nearly 25 minutes. Hopefully I can edit some of this out. Only the boring stuff. And I hope it hasn't been too stressful for you to hear me whinging about my life. As if anyone knows me, I do like a good whinge. But it helps vent it all out. And if it helps you to know that there is someone else here who just doesn't have their shit together, just like you, Join the We Don't Have Our Shit Together Club. The first rule of We Don't Have Our Shit Together Club is, I don't have my shit together, so I didn't write any rules. Yeah, so that's it for me for this week. I've got so much stuff to sort of catch up on, like the Blake 7 guns and all sorts of stuff. But we'll see how we're talking next week. Actually, next week will probably be a roundup of the third day's filming for the Mummified short film, and I'll tell you how that went. So that's it. Take care now. Bye-bye then.